Welcome back to the Abundant Living University. I'm your host, Glenn Ullman. Today's topic is going to be all about university, but really about living too, about how blessed we are in our current situation despite all of the negativity that sometimes pervades our media. And I call your attention to an absolutely wonderful book, frankly, that I've been telling everybody I see and meet with. Every American needs to read this book. It's by Laura Hillenbrand, Hillenbrand, and the book is called Unbroken, and I'll show you the cover of it so you can see it when you go to the bookstore. This is the story of Louis Zamperini, told by the same author as Seabiscuit, and it is an unbelievable tale, except it all happened. It's a true story. Louis was a competitive mile runner, competed in the 1936 Olympics with Jesse Owens in Berlin. Looked like he was on track to break the 4-minute mile, which of course nobody would do until Bannister did it in the late 40s, early 50s. But unfortunately, World War II intervened. The Olympics in 1940 were supposed to be in Japan, were canceled for obvious reasons, rescheduled for Finland. Then Finland was invaded by the Nazis, so the whole Olympics were canceled in 1940. Of course, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, and Louis was drafted into the Army Air Corps. His airplane ultimately went down in the Pacific, and thus begins an incredible odyssey of 2,000 miles in a life raft across the equatorial drift, landing on an island, thinking that they had saved themselves, only to learn out that the Japanese had a prison camp on that island. He was beaten for years. His family all thought he was dead until the Japanese figured out that he was the famous miler and used him for propaganda purposes. He survived the war, returned to California, started to raise a family, but the brutality which he had experienced really psychologically devastated him. And through what I like to call synchrodestiny, there are no accidents, he came across a young preacher who was doing some evangelical preaching in Hollywood, California at that time. He wasn't doing very well, but Louis and his wife went to see this young preacher by the name of Billy Graham, and he turns his life around. It is an incredible story, and when I was reading it, I thought, especially for our generation, would we have been able to be that tough? So I encourage, beg, go get this book and pass it on to whoever you know who loves to read books, because it reminds us of how blessed we are, that others sacrifice so greatly, but also how to really live in the moment, and that's how he survived his captivity. Hope you enjoy the book. Look forward to your comments, and we'll talk to you soon.